Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today it's going to be a match between Shuttle and C here on Fighting Spirit in the StarCraft cartoon skin by Carbot. If you don't know who Carbot is, he does videos of animations from Blizzard games like StarCraft Brood War, StarCraft 2, Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, and more. I'll put a link to his description, well, his YouTube channel in the description. Go check him out. In the top right-hand corner is the red Protoss player. It is Shuttle. And in the top left, it is the purple Terran player, C. So we get two fun colors today. I mean, red, normal, boring, but purple. We don't see purple a lot, especially on Terran, so I'm down with this. Usually it's a red versus blue situation, but not today. This just puts them at both red, yeah. So Alt-Tab in a team game will put players with team colors, but in a 1v1 it just gives them both the same color, which doesn't make any sense because they're not on the same team. I'm not sure what the code is doing there. Anywho, PvT, loving the PvT here on Fighting Spirit. A lot of tanks, a lot of Dragoons, maybe some Disruption Web, but probably not. I get this question a lot. Why don't Protoss players use Disruption Web against Terran? The answer is it doesn't last long enough. Number two, you have to build a fleet beacon to get it. And number three, you have to research a whole nother upgrade to get it. It is just so much resource to spend and so many minerals and gas to get there. And then you have to have a bunch of Corsairs, which aren't that great anyway, against the Terran, just for some Disruption Webs that will last what feels like about 4 seconds. So the original Disruption Web, for sure, that thing used to last for like 5 minutes. There's actually an early mission in the Brood War campaign where you're supposed to use Disruption Web against some static defense the Zerg has. And originally, you throw down the Disruption Web, and it's like 1 minute and 30 seconds later, it comes up, and you've wiped everything out. But since they patched it fairly quickly to make it last, you know, closer to 4 to 5 to 6 seconds, then it's not as easy to do that mission anymore. You have to be really on top of it. It's funny. It's just funny to see how balance changes can affect the campaign for a game as old as, you know, Brood War. But that's been the case for a while. Anyway, welcome aboard. My name's Falcon Paladin. If this is your first time here, welcome. Happy to have you here. Hit that like button if you enjoy seeing daily StarCraft on the channel. I know, some of it's StarCraft 2, but still, 5 times a week, you get Brood War. 5 times a week, you get Brood War in the Remastered client, sometimes in the cartooned client, which is tons of fun. It's cute, man. It's cute, it's fun, it's vibrant. I know a lot of longtime hardcore Brood War players say we can't tell what anything is. It is substantially different from the original, and the Remastered doesn't have those complaints because it still keeps the general unit shape and texture and whatnot. But this little guy is like wearing footy pajamas right now, right? That's not a Marine. He's wearing footy pajamas, and he has a giant faceplate that reaches down to his neck. Well, that's not very far. Down to his belly button. Anyway, Zealot opening here, not really intended to kill a whole lot. It's more of a scouting unit that's really hard for the Terran player to kill. So, and I mean, he will chase down your dudes, too. I love the Zealot animation, by the way. He's so angry all the time. It's my favorite, because Zealots are mad, man. They're angry. Ooh, he did get a kill there, but he's dead now. Now the probe. Oh, the probe gets a Marine kill. That is worth getting excited about. Probe with the Marine kill and like 2 HP. She's dead now. Super dead now, but boy, for a second there, that probe was on top of the world. Top of the world, looking down on creation. That's what the probe was singing. Hey, look, it's another Zealot. Woo! More Zealot action. This is why we're built like this. So Zealots can't quite get on top of you without running through a little narrow choke, which is bad for them. Going through narrow chokes is really bad for anything if they're trying to be aggressive. Anyway, SCV scouting around, Dragoon chasing him out. SCV got a full scout off. There was not much to see here. It was singularity charge, range for the Dragoons. It was an expansion. It was a one gateway style thing. There's really not much here to murder C at all in the first few minutes. It's not a multiple gateway opening either, so we're going to make Dragoons, but they're not going to be coming out like 8, 9, 10 at a time. It's going to be 1 at a time, which is why C is building his command center here on the high ground instead of the low ground and getting a tank out pretty early as well. The tank-marine combo is beautiful against Dragoons early. It will continue to be really strong into the mid-game. Marines lose their effectiveness over time just because Storm and Reavers exist. But if those didn't exist, Marines would still be really good against Dragoons. So they go away, but it's not because they're bad against Dragoons. It's because other things they're really good at killing Marines start to pop out. Second gateway done. Are we just double pump Dragoons here? We certainly are. We are double pumping Dragoons. The range upgrade is just about done, but I mean, with the tank out, 2 tanks out, mind you, it's not going to go very well here for Shuttle. And look who's being aggressive. Since when are Terran aggressive in a TVP? You guys are the defenders in the first 5-10 minutes here. Well, actually, Dragoons are not moving out. And just kidding, Terran's not moving out either. They almost both moved out at the same time and met in the middle here, but no. We are actually robbed of that engagement. I assume this is all supply depots in the corner. That's good. That's hard for me to see anyway. Spider mines coming in. Look how happy they are. Wait. Look how happy they are. Spider mines are so happy. Tanks running around. 3 of them now. Do they have siege mode? I don't know. I wasn't watching the production tab. Do they have siege mode? Would you move out if you didn't have siege? Maybe. Again, Marine's really good. Maybe with Marine support, they feel better about things. Either way, some Vultures tossing down Spider Mines in case some Zealots try to do some run-by harassment on the other side of the map. Man, I love Terran music. My favorite. Here it is, too. That guitar riff. Beautiful. So good. There's an SCV fighting in here for reasons I don't understand. The Spider Mines get nothing done. The tanks don't have siege, or they would have sieged up there, I think. And C is in full retreat. Goodbye. Goodbye, C. I mean, those Spider Mines maybe. Yep, 1 Dragoon dies, but kills a Vulture with it. That one, did it explode? I think it exploded on that Dragoon. Pretty injured as it stands. And then pulling back to the safety of these Spider Mines. Dragoon's gonna, oh, they're going in there, man. Ow! Ooh. How? Wow, the other one didn't actually do any damage. There were 2 Spider Mines there. They both exploded, but only one of them did any damage to that there Dragoon. Strangely enough. Anyway, what's our next tech? It's robotics facility. Yes, going to be for shuttles. And again, this player's name is Shuttle. As such, he will be going for shuttles. Tanks do have siege mode now. Would have been nice about, I don't know, 20 seconds ago. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's all right. You didn't lose much. It's not like all your tanks died. That would have been disastrous. If he'd pushed in there, the Dragoons had jumped on top of all of them and they had died. Which, in fairness, would have been easier to do if the tanks were in siege mode. Depending on how many Dragoons you have and how many tanks there are. So it's a question of just figuring out relative army sizes. Third base on the way from a shuttle on the right side of the map at the 3 o'clock position. There goes the engineering bay because getting upgrades for bio is worthless in TVP and has been forever and ever. Amen. Observatory in production. I guess while we're a bit slow here, quick plug for the Falcon Paladin store. It is luckily just falconpaladin.store for that URL. You can see hoodies, t-shirts, hats, mugs, all sorts of great stuff specific to each race in StarCraft, specific to the Falcon Paladin brand. Check it out. You can get Christmas shipping at this point. You can get the currency with which you buy the merchandise in your local currency as well. There's a drop down for that. Super easy. Check it out, falconpaladin.store. Academy on the way. Which, for ComSat, I have to assume we are not getting bio upgrades right now. This floating engineering bay just solidifies that. Meanwhile, in Terranville, we've got a Citadel of a Dune warping in. That's for the Zealot legs. And really, the core of the army here today is going to be Dragoons and Zealots with legs. Dragoons with range, Zealots with speed, and then maybe some Storm drops. Maybe some storming on top of the mech. Sometimes maybe some Reavers on top of the mech. That could be pretty good as well, depending on how many tanks there are. A lot of this matchup comes down to how many tanks there are. Detection really important too for obvious reasons. Oh, that's a trap. Hey guys. Trap. One of them escapes, the other one doesn't. Trap succeeds. Observer out. Sees a potential third base timing here, but 3 tanks on the high ground. This is not enough Dragoons. Well, maybe it is. This is a lot of Dragoons, actually. 3 bases up for Shuttle. He's up 95 to 64 total supply right now. He has an army lead supply. He has a worker lead. Templar Archives and a Stargate coming in, which means we will see the beloved and important Arbiter coming up soon. La 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 la. Stargate, Templar Archives. Yep, those are the key ingredients for that stew. The stew with which you make Arbiters. Obviously, for those of you asking, what stew, Falcon? Are you crazy? Well, I do have 3 kids. And they've been slowly draining my brain cells out of my head ever since they've been born. I love them to pieces, but I can feel myself get dumber every day. Trying to keep hold of the few remaining brain cells that I have. I've counted them, and they are 3. So hopefully we'll hang on to the 3 for some time. If I start losing any more than those, the casts are going to suffer maybe even more than they already do. And everybody recoils in horror. So there's your Arbiter Tribunal. Kind of poking around, trying to set up a 4th base down here. I like it. If you're Terran, you can't super be aggressive at this stage anyway. It takes a while for mech to ramp up. And the trade-off is they're really strong when they're ramped up. Once they have about 15 or 20 tanks, it's really hard to break. And Protoss needs to go into Zerg mode at that point and just throw units after units, waves of units after waves of units against it in hopes of killing 5 or 6 tanks and then doing it again and again and again. It's rough. It is rough stuff. Stasis can help, but a good Terran player will split up their tanks like this so that they're not clumped together to where one Stasis can kill or remove from the action 4 or 5 tanks at a time. That is bad play. You need to keep your tanks spaced out, but not so spaced out they can't cover each other. It's tricky. I'm not going to lie. It's tricky stuff. We got Goliaths to deal with the Arbiters and also to help out against those observers. Shuttles are so sad. I don't know why shuttles are so sad. I guess maybe they kind of have sad looks in the original StarCraft, but that's about all I have for you. So it's going to be Spider Mines and Vultures versus the Zealots, tanks versus everything else on the ground, and then Goliaths versus the Arbiters. And that is going to be our battle. That's going to be our battleground here for all time and eternity in this TVP. We do not vary unless the Protoss goes for carriers, in which case we do vary. But at this stage, I don't see that happening. 4th base done, 5th base on the way from Shuttle. He's really being allowed to expand unopposed, which I agree with. I agree with him doing this. I don't necessarily agree with C sort of allowing it to happen. C's been known to be a pretty aggressive Terran. He's had some really great games on the channel already. He's a younger player compared to somebody like Shuttle, but has a lot of good capabilities and can win this game. Absolutely. I believe in him. So actually going for some dropship action, but that's not super great. Smart job pulling out, though. He recognized that wasn't going to happen, so he just gets on out of there with his tank and 2 Vultures. Those dying would be bad for him at this stage of the game. But yeah, I've said it before, but Protoss needs to play like Zerg against Terran. Expand a whole bunch, out-macro your opponent, and then when you're maxed out, just start throwing waves and waves of units into this. You don't have Ultras, you don't have Dark Swarm, but you do have Zealots, which are good. Honestly, Zealots alone, pretty great against these tanks, and not bad against the Vultures either. The Spider Mines, clearing them out is really a problem, though. Dragoon's trying to see exactly how far out has C encroached right now. The answer is not too far. He's pretty close to home. Observer with speed cruising around, trying to check things out in the top left here. Working on Storm. Love that Storm upgrade on the Templar Archives here. High Templar coming out with their little shady guys following them. They're shadows, I guess. It's a Dark Templar line, though. From the shadows I come. Arbiter out. Chakakazol ready to move. And EMP coming in here, too. EMP really important against these Arbiters. You EMP them. Stasis doesn't happen anymore. EMP removes all of the energy off of an Arbiter. So that's why the Goliaths exist. That is why the turrets exist, is so that Arbiters can't just fly directly over this group, because otherwise the anti-air is not really here from Vultures and tanks, which I'm sure you guys are totally aware of. Tank drop, Vulture drop down here in the 5th rather, down south, but there's enough here to shut it down. Cannon's gonna die, but that's about it. Not bad. This Vulture maybe gonna get a probe kill, possibly 2. Nice Spider Mine drop, though. Takes out 2 Dragoons down here. Not too shabby. So, 3 basing Terran. Pretty happily 3 basing with 67 SCVs. Can't really get a 4th without the Protoss player knowing about it. There's some pretty good vision here of all the available bases for this. And this has been pretty much 14 minutes of build-up in PvT, which is sometimes all it is. And then the insanity commences, because we're maxed out now. This is what we're talking about. This is maxed out in 14 minutes. Can you max out in 14 minutes as Protoss and Brood War? If you can, you're playing at Shuttle's level. Congratulations. I mean, it helps if you're not being harassed at all. Okay, that's a lie. There's been a little bit of harassment, but not really much. Not really much. So what are the upgrades? We got +1 attack on the ground for the Protoss. The Vultures have +2 attack and +1 armor, which is not bad. I like the upgrades we're seeing here from C. Is he working on additional ones? Not really at the moment. No, that is plating, so that's plating level 2, which I like here at the 14-minute mark. Should really get to at least +3 attack at some point here. The bottom left graying of Vultures goes down really unopposed. And the slow push out from C is going to continue here. It's like cancer or something. Slowly growing. Slowly taking over more cells. I don't know. Cancer sucks. There are people in my life that have been diagnosed with cancer. And it's not good. So I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm just saying it kind of reminds me of cancerous growth. It can be very slow. I guess it can be very fast sometimes too, which is what this is. Server down. That's a big pickup. There are no spider mines here for these zealots. Nice storm though. Wow, on a large group of vultures. Really nicely done. So again, out macroed. Shuttle has done what he wants to do. He's got a huge economy. He's starting to build up a bank because he's maxed out. He's getting upgrades. He's getting static defense. Ooh, he is getting a fleet beacon, though. And another couple Stargates. And has he kind of stopped upgrades for his ground units? The answer is yes, and he's working on air weapons. This is a carrier transition. We made it. Hooray! Carrier transition into PvT. Just delaying at this point. EMP against High Templar. Fantastic, too. Because, you know, they also rely on that energy to really do anything at all for the Protoss. Yeah, man. That is plasma shields. That is air weapons. Oh, he's getting ground weapons and air armor, too. And there you go. Carrier capacity. That is your key. Fleet beacon done. Working on carrier capacity. These are the keys to victory if you are trying to get carriers up against a Terran player. Now, at this point, is the Terran player making nothing but Goliaths? The answer is no. He's making tanks and vultures. He doesn't know yet. But he doesn't have the all-seeing eye that I have available, which is to see what's going on up here in the main base. He could scan it, but he's still making vultures, which does not bode well for him in the long run here. He has time to respond. It's not like he's done. Hallucination, huh? Interesting hallucination. Man, Shuttle has another base. I really honestly feel like Shuttle's got this game in hand just by the sheer number of bases that exist. That High Templar is somehow alive, despite walking into the Lion's Den here of 1,000,000 tanks with +2 attack. So this is problematic, except, oh no, they're pulling back. What? What? Why are, okay. This is where we live now, I guess. We're gonna let the natural base die. There is nothing coming to challenge this army at all. Shuttle's like, I'm fine. I have another base down south. And my opponent doesn't have a 4th base yet, so I'm winning this battle for sure. That observer's gonna die because it's on hold position and there are Goliaths. Zealot's trying to get in here, but no. There are no more Zealots in production. All of these gateways are doing, oh, there we go, 7 Zealots on the way. Never mind, we're working on 1,000,000 Zealots to try to stop this. The natural base is gonna die. Again, Shuttle can handle this. He has 100 other Nexuses to work with. Shuttle does not want to get in here at all. Is he abandoning his carrier strategy? I kind of feel like maybe he is. He's not making any carriers. Maybe he wasn't given enough time. Maybe C came sooner than he was expected. Alright, well, here come the Zealots. If they come one at a time, that's bad. This probe transfer is also terrifying. Guys, probes, hey, dudes, okay, they tried to get out. That didn't happen. At 64 to 66 workers, Terran player is up at this point after that massacre. His 3 o'clock position is getting directly shelled here. He's really being very passive and patient, which is a good thing for a Protoss player to experience here. Did he get EMP'd? He brought an Arbiter over intending, I think, to EMP this, but I think the Science Special took him out. Just took him right out. So this is where Shuttle lives now. Shuttle lives down in the south. His northern base is pretty much done at this state. Ooh, he is making carriers. Okay, so he's building carriers out of our Stargates. Just, maybe not exactly when he wanted to. C's maxed out. He's working on vehicle plating level 3, which is nice. It'll be good for his Goliaths. This Goliath count is not super heavy. There are a lot of tanks here that pretty much just need to go on direct base killing duty if they're going to win this game. Because very soon, well, it takes approximately 400 years to build a carrier in Brood War. So not super soon, but fairly soon. They're going to be useless. At least in direct confrontations. Where are these SCVs going? Are you seriously abandoning this fourth? Look, man, send some of these units over. Take your fourth base. I guess he's got a pretty nice bank. Fairly comparable to what Shuttle has, actually. So, I don't know, man. What are these SCVs doing? Committing suicide, Falcon? Ah, of course. As they do. Kind of an engagement up here. We got some storms. We got some more storms. We got shuttles getting picked out of the sky. High Templar walking to their deaths. Nope, he's alive. How are you alive, guy? You're so bold. Maybe that's what it is. Your boldness keeps you from dying. He's killing zealots, I think, to free up supply for carriers at this stage. So the first 3 carriers have arrived about an eon after they were started. 3 more carriers in production, which is nice. Bottom base. Ooh, defensive matrix up on these tanks. I like that. I like it a lot. So this base is toast, but again, I think Shuttle can handle it. Zealots jumping right on top of these tanks, though. That one's dead. And this one is also dead. Even if Spider Mines kill the Zealots, they're going to kill the tank, too. There it is. Friendly fire, the best. Is he still holding this left side? Shuttle is doing this so effectively. Look at him just denying the fourth base over and over. He knows that's key. If he can deny the fourth base for the rest of the game, he's probably going to win this thing. Especially if his opponent keeps making tanks. Well, I guess the ground army is pretty substantial for Shuttle. You don't just want to go mass Goliath here. Because Zealot Dragoon is really good against it. You do need to keep some of your tanks around. They're not all instantly just obsolete when the carriers show up. I was overstating things. Anyway, these tanks aren't even in siege mode. They have +3 attack. They hit like trucks with 49 damage per shot. Lies. 39 damage per shot. And look, C's killing another base, unopposed. This has been the most unopposed base killings I have ever seen in a StarCraft game. Shuttle has no interest in defending any of his bases once they're under attack. Look how confident C is. He's taking the middle expansion. He's taking the middle. Who does this? People that think they're winning. That's who. Oh, is this base dead as well? Are you building anything in here? Sort of. Yeah, bunch of zealots. That's nice. Ready for the high ground storm? Good storm. Good storm. Ready for another storm? Yeah. Ready for 2 storms? Yeah. Ready for 1 more storm? Get it. Don't die. Oh, that was a great storm. That was a great storm. Meanwhile, Dragoons try to take this base down, but tanks exist, and they have +3, and they are mean, so nope. Did not work. This attack doing pretty well for itself. A lot of tanks have died, but at the end of the day, they're not dead yet. They have no vultures to help them, but look at the single target attacks they're pulling off right here. Defensive Matrix helping immensely, too. Oh, a small recall. What a teeny tiny recall in here to storm the tanks and murder all of them. What a Gosu play there out of Shuttle. I liked it. I liked it a lot. That reminds me, I think I should put Gosu as the as the video title instead of Epic for Brood War games. Because one of the replays that I got out of the Gosu Gamers replay pack, I labeled as Gosu, so you knew where it was from, and it's got a bajillion views. Like more than average. Not a bajillion. For me, it's a lot, right? Yes, I understand other StarCraft channels have, you know, 1 million views. I'm not close to that. But maybe Gosu is attractive to you guys. You like that term, right? Apparently you do. So, another purple attack, swinging into the bottom right-hand corner. This game, like, just for the sake of how darn many bases have died, might get a Gosu tag, but there have been such a distinct lack of massive battles that I don't know if it's worth it. Both players have effectively been maxed out for the last 10 minutes. Both players have done pretty great things. without being directly opposed. And here we go. This is what we've been looking for, ladies and gentlemen, is the carrier group versus this largely tank army with a handful of Goliaths. That this is being so abused right now. The Goliaths can't get direct hits on these carriers because they're staying on this side of this berm. Okay, but get there. A little bit dangerous. Engagement on the right side. These tanks are all getting wiped out, and C is not allowed a fourth base. He is not allowed a fourth base. Yeah, see how there's enough Goliaths to win this, but only if Shuttle like A moves in here, right? Which he's not gonna do. He's too smart of a player. So impressed. So impressed with Shuttle's game right now. Like, it's almost not even fair what we're looking at. Whew. So, really strange ragtaggy group here. Going at it. Storm, Zealots, that group's dead. Mass Goliath can actually handle this small group from the Protoss. The carriers are not involved in this battle at all. These High Templar going down is big. They need to run or float, which is something they like to do, is just float away. Center base in a lot of trouble. I mean, C having this is his fourth. I guess I haven't been saying. But it's in a lot of trouble now because you can't really hold against 6 carriers with 3 missile turrets. I've tried. Meanwhile, another base going down to the mech army. It's one that the Shuttle has replaced in the bottom left and is going to die again. But, yeah, Goliaths coming in. That means the carriers have to get out, abusing this area the Goliaths can't see over and also can't traverse. It's good. It's good stuff right now. Tank sets up to help these Goliaths get stuff done. Again, the Goliaths do 15 damage per shot, which is good. Not bad. Let's compare it to Zealots real quick. 16 plus 6 on... That's a lot. That's a lot of damage there, but it's also not ranged. Ranged attacks are usually less damage than melee attacks because, you know, range is easier to pull off. And that's it! C taps out. The carriers show up. That's all that was written. And Shuttle wins the game. Yeah, that's what it really all came down to, was losing this middle base, not being able to establish this 9 o'clock, meant he was getting mined out of his first, second, and third bases. Even with all the killing of Nexuses he'd done so far, there was still too much income here for Shuttle. He still had a 5,000, 4,000 bank. The carriers were being controlled well enough that it was going to be really hard for C to win this game, especially because he was quickly falling in supply, making 6 Goliaths at a time. But this base is alive, this base is alive, this base is alive, this base is coming up too. There's just too much. There is just too much Protoss. Excellently, just so well played from Shuttle. I don't know what to say other than that was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Oh, man, what a good game. That was a ton of fun. And just, if you're playing Protoss and struggling with Terran, I mean, this is it. You max out on Dragoons and Zealots, get yourself a little bit of Storm in there, make a couple Arbiters, and then transition into Carriers. Then you have this really weird hybrid army that's really hard for Terran players to deal with. It's not bad. I mean, expand a million times. Don't panic trying to defend your bases here. Again, I don't think he mustered much of a defense on any of his bases except for this one. And I guess he did recall earlier to defend it against a handful of tanks about 5 minutes ago, maybe less than that. So good job by him. But yeah, hit that like button if you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for me. Bit of a stranger, more passive game, but you can still learn a lot from it. Shuttle just showing his ways, how to take down that pesky Terran. And it worked in 27 minutes. End of the day, 223,000 points for Shuttle, 183,000 for C. We're looking at units produced and lost and killed is pretty even across the board here. This is just, well, 432 units produced versus 359. I thought Shuttle would have produced more, but he didn't. It was even that way, but what it came down to were the resources, and we'll get there in a second. Also, structures raises 50 to 8 in favor of C. Yeah, that makes sense, but look at this. 5,000 more gas mined, almost 20,000 more minerals mined. That's insane from Shuttle. And then total spent is 14,000 more. And that's what it came down to. C didn't lose militarily. He lost economically, which It's a bad way to die, is being just starved out economically until you tap out. So, all right. Well, that's going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered in the cartoon skin. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.